Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to give an update today on how things have been going with my Moleskine expanded. As you can see, it is getting very chunky. This is the Moleskine expanded soft cover, and I saw Seaweed Kisses, another creator here on YouTube, and it is a journal that they have used quite often, and they have that really awesome chunky journal look to it. And I've always liked the Moleskine soft cover, so I got this back in, it was either end of November or beginning of December, and I started it then, and it has been really therapeutic. The last time I did a little flip through, I was kind of sharing with you guys how I have been just going about this in like the most non-judgmental, open flow way as possible. And I've really continued this. I'm just going to kind of flip through and talk about this a little bit. It may be repetitive on the last video I did on it, but it has developed a little bit more. So you can see I was kind of following like certain different ideas. Like I was using it kind of as a sketchbook and kind of for mind mapping. And then regular journal spreads, like my other regular journal spreads, and then it kind of devolved into just regular journaling. I did have some morning pages in here when I went on a road trip, because I just wanted to bring one journal with me. We have some art in here, and then I started taping and packaging and just using stickers, because that was, I don't know, like important for me. Some drawings that I did, I really liked these drawings. This was like kind of mind mapping a little story idea. More drawing and affirmations, self-inquiry, future self meditation from, I think, the holistic psychologist. Imaginary world lists from the book by Carrie Smith. Some daily practice notes, dream logging, quotes, symbols, sigil lists for an art class that I was taking, tarot readings, this was one thing that I had, gratitude journaling, thought distortions. I am always jotting down book titles of books I want to read. As you guys know, I listen to a lot of books. I get a lot of postcards and like extra bonus, like mail in a lot of my orders, so I've been including some of that. Just kind of writing through some of the things that are not helpful for me. Some quizzes from the book by the holistic psychologist. I printed it off with my Pulley printer because I can never get my regular printer to work, and so I kind of gave up. A lot more self-inquiry here. Notes about body language. So you guys can see that, oh, more tarot readings. It kind of serves as like a daily journal. It doesn't have, here's just some logs of like mail that I got and like notable things. Here's a fun little, I just wanted to doodle. It says the unicorn in me recognizes the unicorn in you. Like one of the big things that I noticed is that I like daily journaling, but if I daily journal and decorate at the same time, that I tend to focus too much on, oh, I started including like financial planning in here, which is something that I've never done before in my journals. Inner child journaling from a seminar that I took. This is a prompt that I did along with my Patreon collective. Working on listings for my Etsy shop. But yeah, I found that when I decorate at the same time as journaling, that I focus more on the decorating and making things look like overly aesthetically pleasing. And I can't really get out of my head. This is a fun little image I got. I think that's Our Lady of Fatima. Just some lists, and this is a page from a pen and gear notebook that my kids scribbled on. But I'm able to get, oh, here's some more self-inquiry. Notes from Reiki training. But yeah, what I found is that, oh, this is interesting. I started journaling this way. I was feeling very tense, and I was actually at a car appointment that day, and I just really needed to be able to journal in a way that felt good, and going that way just felt best for my body at that time. Here's a little card. More Etsy listings. Some doodles from game night. That was supposed to be Eloise. Kind of looks like a grown-up version of Eloise. Mail packaging from the analog zine that I signed up for. I've been kind of obsessed with drawing houses lately, which is something that I used to do in my early 20s when I was like not so much into the drinking, that I was still like kind of planning for a future. This is tarot notes. Notes from a book I was reading. Inner child doodles. I think, oh, this is the Copic markers that I tried to swatch in here, and as you can see, the Moleskine expanded journal does not handle the heavy duty markers. But I did make this art and then paste it in here, and I think that might be, this is an inventory practice notes from a class that I took. Schedule planning, a channeling workshop that I ended up, I finished it, but I ended up stopped taking notes on it. More class notes. This was a newsletter class for my Substack. Printouts from my Puli printer from a TikTok creator. Oh, this is notes on a saint that I am not super familiar with, but I think it was from a devotional I got from the Wildroot Parables. They have devotionals for different seasons that I think they're going to be offering in their shop now, but they also have a Substack you can subscribe to. And I obviously, I'm like a week behind on that, or maybe 2 weeks. I've got more budgeting, and I am going to skip that because it is private. Stickers. In here we've got some poetry that I wrote. This is a fun, I haven't taped this in because I don't know if I'm going to keep it in here, but this is from the podcast of mine, which is a favorite podcast called St. Anthony's Tongue. It's a vintage holy card. I believe this is like a copy of it, and it talks about the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Anyways, St. Anthony's Tongue is a great podcast for like Catholicism and mysticism within Christianity. They also offer mystery boxes of things with like prayer cards and holy water and relic cards and medals and things like that. Highly recommend. A mantra. Oh, I started My Neighbor is Totoro Journal for my morning pages. I switched to that because a smaller size felt better, and felt like it was a way I could show up more consistently. Oh, here is some conversations with God journaling. I think these are, this is writing for my Substack. Here I tested some fun washi tape that I got from the Zen Pop box that I unboxed for you guys in an earlier video. Some poetry submissions. Journaling, like angry journaling, about trying to figure out how to do the parent thing because I have 2 toddlers. Well, my son is 4 now, but you know, we've been dealing with the fact he was nonverbal for a while. And my daughter, she has to get tubes in her ears, and it has made it very difficult trying to connect with them and like communicate with them. You can see I tried to play with watercolor markers here that didn't work. Here's some swatching pages. But it's really frustrating when you're trying to teach toddlers how to do something and it feels like they can't hear you or understand you, and then you also can't understand them, and you just end up like going around and around in circles. I have a lot of empty pages here that I didn't know about. I was taking some notes on astrology back here from some books that I listened to, and I will say that I'm taking a break from astrology because I feel like I was trying to learn too many things. Playing with some colored pencils. Art with my Caran d'Ache crayons or pastels or whatever they are. The only complaint I have about this is I do wish that it held watercolor and like fountain pens better. Here's a spread I did on The Convenience Store Woman, which is a book that I listened to over the course of one day. It's very interesting. Here's some herbalism school notes. I need to just get some of the pages printed from this, but I learn better taking notes, and that's probably why like I go through these classes so slowly. This is a slip from our scorecard from a game night with our friends. This is from an art space that we visited on a date day. Yeah, you can see that I'm getting it filled up pretty quick. I will say that if I didn't love my traveler's notebook so much, I would probably, and if I didn't need a space that I could use like watercolor markers and fountain pens in, I would probably switch to this for literally everything. But because that, and there are some cases where bringing this is not the most realistic thing for me if we're going to be walking a lot. But it has been a very great way to journal, and I find that I can add decorations to pages, then go back and fill it in later, and it is still very pleasing. And I can still put in pieces from like memories of things that we've done without like actually losing track of the memory usually. And if I feel like it's something I might forget, I usually just jot a little note down, and I like that it leads to very interesting pages. I feel like a curated journal for me is like in my traveler's notebook. One of my traveler's notebook inserts is definitely like daily spreads on how I feel that day or things that interest me or at that moment. But this is more of like what it looks like in my brain day to day, and like how I'm trying to handle things in my life and what I am doing in my day-to-day life. So I think that it definitely has a different vibe to it, but I would almost call this my emotional support notebook. Moleskines have always been first and foremost like my favorite as far as journals are concerned. When every time I've started journaling or I've started writing a story or poetry or anything, I always get a Moleskine notebook. So soft covers were always my favorite. So working in this has been really great, and I am excited to finish it up and get a new one. I'm probably going to get black next time. although I do like the red. And I do want to do more of the tabs. I'm just not, I don't know if I need to like write down, like have tabs that I can write names or like little notes on it, or if I just need to use posty tabs. I'm not sure. If you guys have some sort of like annotation system that works well for you, why don't you drop it in the comments, because that is new territory for me. But this has been the most sustainable way that I've been able to keep up with daily journaling other than morning pages. I've considered putting morning pages in here, but I don't know if morning pages is something that I want to keep for long term. But the Moleskines are definitely, you know, it has a lot of like memories taped in here, receipts, packaging, things like that. And it is something that is supposed to be memory keeping, as well as just like working things out in my head and getting things out of my body, as far as like ideas, concerns, feelings, etc. So I hope that you guys have a lovely Tuesday, or whatever day it is that you're watching this. I want to keep making more videos about like my actual daily journaling practice. So if you have any requests of things that I could show you or talk about, let me know. I am going to be curating my Patreon to be more of like a journaling collective, and I want to be planning, now that once my daughter's tubes surgery is done, I want to, she's getting the ear tubes. I think I've mentioned that before. But once that is complete, I would like to set up a live and do one like once every week or once every couple weeks, where I sit and we have like a journaling space together. I don't know if there will be talking or if it'll just be like a co-working space. But one of the things that I wanted to focus on with my journaling social media presence is cultivating community. And journaling has been such a healing practice for me. And it has been very generative as far as working through things and bringing forth ideas and bringing forth confidence in myself and my abilities. And I want to help other people find that. So that is kind of like where I am interested in taking this channel, and my presence online is just, you know, kind of building this collective where we all support each other, and we have our journals and they support us, and we just encourage each other to look inward and to hold ourselves, and allow our journals to hold us. And I think that is everything. If you guys have any questions, again, leave them in the comments, and I hope you guys have a lovely day. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. You can't tell, I always forget to say that. Okay, bye.